What up, y'all? So we are going to get into day 11 of the Diddy trial. Now, on day 10, we heard from Capricorn Clark, who to me has been the star witness in this case. Like, yo, she really hit some key points to really hone in onto these RICO charges. Day 11, story's gonna be a little different. In this video, we're gonna hear testimony from a police officer, an arson investigator, and Deonte Nash, which is one of Diddy's old employees, as well as Cassie's personal stylist. Let's get into it. So first up, the prosecution calls the police officer, Chris. He was the officer on the scene when Diddy allegedly went into Kid Cudi's house, locked his dog up in the bathroom, went through Kid Cudi's Christmas presents because he found out that Cassie and Kid Cudi had been seeing each other. So Diddy ran up in that boy's house, okay? So the key thing in this testimony was he was a police officer who got the call of a potential break-in. So as he's riding towards the direction of Kid Cudi's house, he passes a black SUV. He looks at the license plate, he memorizes it, but he keeps moving towards Kid Cudi's house. So when he got there, he found out there was no forced entry, nothing was really burglarized, but he still took down the report from Kid Cudi. He put in his report that Cudi was visibly upset. He was not happy about what happened. So they essentially took it down as a trespassing report because there was no signs of forced entry. Obviously, Diddy didn't just walk through the door. Kid Cudi ain't have his house locked up. So they walked in, moved his Christmas presents around, locked the dog up in the bathroom. And the police is like, well, I mean, technically, they didn't break in. You didn't lock the door. So we're just going to take this down as trespassing. If we find out who it is, we'll tell them, hey, they can't come to your house no more. So as the police officers were walking back to his car, he's like, let me run this license plate. That SUV that I passed, I wonder who that car was registered to. Wonder if it's tied to the person who went into Cudi's house. Now, the prosecution, they're so messy. They're like, so, Mr. Officer, when you got back to your car and you ran the plate, who was that black SUV registered to? He said, Bad Boy Entertainment. I was like, Diddy, they done put either you or one of your employees at the scene of the crime, bro. Like, what you doing? So this corroborates testimony that Capricorn spoke about, her being in the car with Diddy as they're at Kid Cudi's house. The police officer sees the black SUV. He runs the plate. It says Bad Boy Entertainment. So we have this story lining up together. So Brian Steele, Diddy's lawyer, steps up to cross-examine the police and was like, sir, did anybody report a kidnapping? Or did anybody report anything about any weapons? He was like, no, we didn't get any calls on kidnappings or weapons. So Diddy's lawyer, Brian, is like, so his house wasn't damaged. Nothing really happened here. There was no security footage, no breaking and entering. Seems like Kid Cudi kind of accidentally left his door open. So, officer, you might agree that there really wasn't a bad crime committed here. Hey, I mean, that's the only defense Diddy's lawyer really have. Because, I mean, anybody smart sitting on that jury, we kind of putting two and two together like, yo, Diddy was obviously at this guy's house. And if Diddy wasn't there, somebody in a Bad Boy Entertainment truck was around the area, okay? We're going to put two and two together. Next up on the stand, the arson investigator testified that he believes somebody did blow up Kid Cudi's car intentionally. So if y'all don't recall, Cassie and Kid Cudi both testified that Cudi's car exploded a week or so after Diddy went to Cudi's house. So the arson investigator was like, yeah, this definitely was no accident. Whoever did this cut the roof of his Porsche open, dropped a fire cocktail inside. Now, I exaggerated a little bit. Cudi's car didn't blow up all the way because whoever did the cocktail used a silk scarf, and the scarf pretty much didn't flame out like it was supposed to because of the material it was made of. So the fire never got all the way through the Molotov to cause the blow up. But whoever did it left a lighter right next to the car. They was not able to pull any DNA off of the lighter. No DNA on the scarf, but there was a partial DNA on the bottle, which was a female. Now, the thing about the DNA on the bottle is it doesn't mean that only female DNA was on the bottle. That's all they had enough to pull off because the bottle was potentially burnt, destroyed, stuff kind of all messed up. Whoever did this, for all we know, they could have been wearing gloves, picked this bottle up out the trash can at a gas station. Anybody could have touched it. We don't know who had that bottle. Or did Cassie blow up Kid Cudi's car? Or did Capricorn do it? We'll never know because the DNA wasn't strong enough to test it against somebody. It was like a little partial DNA, not much at all. So something else we learned, whenever somebody broke into Cudi's house, he did hire somebody to come in and do fingerprints. And he gave those fingerprint cards to the LAPD. Hopefully that the PD can kind of tie those fingerprints to somebody in the system. So the feds is questioning the arson investigator and is like, well, did you pull any prints off of the bottle or the car? Did you test those fingerprints? And the arson investigator was like, well, funny you should mention that. When I called the LAPD to get the fingerprint card, it was gone. It just like disappeared. And the prosecution was like, what? It disappeared? Is that normal? Diddy's team jumps up and says, objection, objection. Oh, no. We need a mistrial. But this whole case needs to be thrown out. This is a disaster. So Diddy's team felt like the feds were insinuating that Diddy had somebody working for the LAPD who made that fingerprint card disappear. And they feel like if the jury heard that, that can no longer give Diddy a fair trial because the feds are insinuating that Diddy has the police working for him. The judge was like, listen, we're not going to do a mistrial. The prosecution never said those words directly out of their mouth. So what I will do, I will tell the jury to just disregard the last little bit that we heard and we're going to move on. We're not going to throw this whole case out because the prosecution was trying to walk down a lane that they never got to. Problem is, unfortunately, the jury did hear that testimony. So you can tell them not to keep that in their mind, but I mean, they heard it, it's there, and they probably still thinking like, so what did happen to the fingerprint card? Like, where did it go? Why did it just disappear? And they said it only disappeared like 6 months after the incident. It wasn't like years and years down the line. These things disappeared pretty quickly, okay? So the next person they called to the stand is Cassie stylist Deonte Nash. And Deonte, similar to Capricorn, was a pretty solid witness. Diddy's team tried to break him and they couldn't. Number one thing, he's a part of the LGBT community. People say he's a gay man. I don't really know. I don't know if people are gay, if they're bisexual. But what I can say is, if you're going to put a gay man on the stand and you think you're about to read him, you better be ready. Because they got their comebacks in their head. You're not going to read them before they read you back. So you got to be ready for Deonte, okay? So Deonte walks in and the prosecution is like, do you want to be here? And he's like, no. They say, well, why are you here? He said, because I've been subpoenaed. So if y'all recall, Cassie testified that one day Diddy attacked her and Deonte was there and tried to get Diddy off of her. So he's essentially there to corroborate her story and to also tell us about his time working for Diddy because he was a bad boy employee. So the feds are like, who did you work for? He's like, Cassie. They said, how'd you get paid? He said, through Diddy's company. Now, what's funny about Deonte, they said anytime Diddy's team, he would like want to holler an objection or something like that, he'll just smack his teeth and roll his eyes like, they said he was just like so obvious with his animations and body language, like he just was not going for Diddy's team at all. They said he was very animated on the stand and the jury loved him. He testified that he was with Cassie almost every day and Diddy would call her several different names, baby girl, Cass, Cece, and then he would curse her out and violate her verbally, threaten her on an everyday basis, and she would be so depressed she'd just stay home. He said almost anytime she would have a good day or try to go out to the club, he would threaten her and say, yo, that's why your mixtape ain't coming out. And said Diddy told Deonte, matter of fact, neither one of y'all need to go to the club anymore because Deonte, every time you go out, she want to go out, and I don't want her going out. So Deonte said Diddy told him, matter of fact, both of y'all stay in the house. Y'all can't go out nowhere. Sir, I'm your employee, not your child. Okay, this is crazy. He went on to speak about how Cassie would record a ton of music, but Diddy would never put it out. So nobody ever really got paid when she worked on her music. She would record songs, but unfortunately, they'd never see the light of day. He said he saw Diddy get violent with Cassie frequently. He said one night, him, Cassie, and Mia was all at Cassie's apartment. Cassie was asleep. Diddy burst through the door and was like, you better answer the phone. Whenever I call you, you better always answer that phone. And said Diddy tried to jump on her. Deonte said when he tried to jump on her, he got on Diddy like, yo, back up, get off her. Diddy pushes him away. Boom, get out the way, Deonte. Then Mia jumps on Diddy's back. He, boom, gets her off. Move, Mia, get out the way. And in the midst of doing all this, he hits Cassie. She hits her head, and there's just like a gash in her forehead. And she's kind of just like leaking there. And said after Diddy kind of like snaps out of his rage, he's like, dang, man, look what y'all made me do. And he eventually tells Cassie to get in the car. They got to call the plastic surgeon. Plastic surgeon got to get her fixed up. He said there was another incident at the house where Diddy just burst through the door, kicked Cassie and Deonte both out of the apartment. Both of y'all get out. So they got in the car and drove off. Said Diddy calls Cassie and says, stop the car. So they stopped the car. Diddy rolls up on him and he pretty much threatens Cassie like, I'll release all these tapes. Who you think you playing with? So Deonte's like, he just drives off. He didn't want to hear all that. And say Cassie is just crying. She's just bawling. And Deonte's like, girl, like, why you crying? If he released the tape, so what? He on the tapes too. And say Cassie just bursts out crying even worse. And so she's like, no, like, I'm the only one on these tapes. He's not on these tapes with me. And Deonte's like, girl, like, what? What you talking about? Deonte ain't know nothing about the freak offs. He said there was another incident where Diddy just popped up at Deonte's house, like looking for Cassie. And he was confused, like, Diddy, like, what's going on? Like, she not here. And said Diddy was just pacing through the house, going crazy, looking in the oven, looking in the dryer, looking everywhere. Where's she at? Where's she at? I know she here. And Deonte's like, Cassie's not here. So apparently there would be times where Cassie would like run and try to leave and get away from Diddy. And so this was one of those times where nobody kind of really know what she was. So he made Deonte call Cassie and they found out she was hiding out at a hotel. So he makes Deonte get in the car so he could tell Diddy where she was at in the hotel. So when they get to the hotel, Deonte goes in. Diddy makes the security go with Deonte. They go up to Cassie's room and the security is like, Cass, yo, you know, you got to go. Diddy's looking for you. Said Cassie was like, I'd rather jump off of this balcony than go deal with him. Like, I'm just over it. Said Diddy's team jumped up. Objection. She said she was ready to end it all before she go back with him. They said on Cassie's 29th birthday, Cassie was hanging out with friends and Diddy went off on her and Deonte didn't understand, like, what's going on? And Cassie was like, yo, I just want to have a freaking good birthday and he's wanting me to do a freak off and I don't want to go do no freak off. I don't want to go with him. And Deonte was like, he didn't really know what a freak off was. He's like, what's a freak off? Like, is this something weird? Is this something different? He thought a freak off was just like Cassie and Diddy doing their thing. He didn't know it was like some next level stuff. So he's like, okay, girl, like, if you don't want to go, don't go. Diddy still made her go. He said there was was another incident where Cassie, Diddy, and Deonte, they was all in a hotel together, and Diddy told Deonte to go wake Cassie up because he wanted to do something with her. And so Cassie was in there like playing like she sleep, like, bro, leave me alone. I don't want to wake up. He gonna make me do a freak off. So Cassie finally got up, told Deonte, like, yo, you gotta leave the room. Like, it's another man coming in here. You gotta go. I don't really want to do this, but you gotta get up out of here. So this is Deonte testifying to her several times saying she don't want to do the freak offs, but Diddy is using force or coercion to get her to do it. So that was day 11 of Deonte testifying about his experiences with Diddy, the things he saw him do to Cassie, how he would be violent, how he would talk to them crazy, kick them out the apartment. Diddy was just crazy. But does Deonte sound like a credible witness to y'all? Leave your comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace.